Welcome, happy holiday makers, to another CruiseAway show with Derek and Joe. It's time to put all the cares and worries to one side, grab a glass of something soothing, and let us take you on impressive five-star cruise and stay adventures. This time we are voyaging with Cunard.
That's right, get ready for some sophisticated adventure as we journey over to Europe on the graceful and elegant Queen Victoria on 3 exciting trips for next year. All bookable today with deposits and all full of glamour, excitement and the very best of variety-filled voyages.
Absolutely. Coming up, we'll be in search of the Northern Lights in the Arctic Circle for March next year. Plus, we'll be off to the coastal splendours of Greece, Croatia and Turkey for June. But we'll start with the wonder and cultural variety that Spain and Italy has to offer. We'll kick off 20 nights on the 15th of May next year by checking into the Premium Lounge in Sydney International, enjoying all of the goodies there before flying off to Barcelona in Spain, and we'll enjoy a lovely 2-night stay in the city. I have to say, if you've never ventured into Barcelona before, you will instantly feel like, wow, it is like I've literally opened up the biggest cultural encyclopedia.
Oh my gosh.
That's living and breathing.
I mean, you'll just walk down La Ramblas, which is the main street, in awe of all these incredible street performers, these flower stalls, and just really drink in the vibrance of this amazing Catalonian city. Then it's time to cruise on board an old friend of mine, Queen Victoria, for 14 nights, back-to-back cruising on the most elegant brand at sea, Cunard, on the most historical cruise brand at sea as well, as Cunard dates back to the White Star Line in the 1800s. They are the true vessels of the ocean, and you'll get to really feel that when you're on board, because everything from the white-gloved afternoon tea through to the formal nights makes you feel like you are on a dazzling traditional ship mixed with the modern flair and all the luxuries we're familiar with when we cruise these days. The ships are, you know, beautifully elegant but not over the top, and that's what I really love about Cunard. The polished beams, the traditional striped deck chairs on the decks, the little touches that make it special, like the bookshop, like you can do fencing, you could do ballroom dancing. They have a little miniature museum on board to talk you through the history as well of White Star Line.
So charming, isn't it?
The funnest thing, I have to say, the traditional clock in the atrium. You don't see that on many ships.
No.
Strolling arm in arm down the stairs on a formal night, getting the photographer to capture that special moment for you, maybe even treating yourself to a box in the theatre and a sneaky glass of champagne whilst you're watching some of their amazing shows. This is the Winter Garden, and it's a lovely place to enjoy a cocktail or afternoon tea. They do it in stuff. By the way, you can be having afternoon tea every single afternoon on Cunard. It's included. Scones and cream, petit foie, little miniature sandwiches, and that lovely thermal suite. Now, I was a fan of that when I was on board, just enjoying the tepid water and the sauna. It's a lovely thing to do after a day at sea or after, you know, an excursion in port. Now, when it comes to dining, Cunard do it in real style with that luxury dining experience included again every single night, and the buffet. If you want to do something a little bit more special, they also have their specialty dining options for an extra fee, where you can get something, you know, a little bit different, maybe a steak or delicious Italian, depending on what you fancy. But of course, the food will be everything you expect from the great Cunard.
And conversely as well, with the dining experiences, if you wanted to go the other way and a little bit more casual, of course they've got the English pub on board, so you can have some great pub favourites there. I love the fact as well that this is kind of like, it's like the end of an era.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful because there are only really 3 or 4 ships that have this charm, this tradition, this grace, this heritage. So it still feels really, really special. Out of Barcelona we go then.
Indeed, and we're heading to Toulon in France first, where you can stroll some of the most iconic viewpoints of this beautiful city, maybe take a cable car tour above the city, or an excursion such as the Ultimate Provence cooking class with an executive chef. Speak to your team on board about that. Then it's Livorno in Italy. Livorno actually is the gateway to Cinque Terre, to the Leaning Tower of Pisa and Florence. And if you want to do all of those in an excursion, it might be possible. Speak to the team on board so you can maximise your time in port. Valencia's next, Spain's third city. My old home, I lived there for a while. Lovely, lovely place to see the medieval old town. Those are the Torres Serranos that surround the city. And then there's the Arts and Sciences building, which is also iconic, used in a lot of movies. Barcelona's next. We have another cheeky day in Barcelona. Maybe you'll head just outside of Barcelona to Tarragona and see the medieval ruins whilst you're there. It's easy reach on the train, or Sitges as well on the train, a lovely beach resort. But we're into Palma de Mallorca as the next part of our second cruise. Lovely relaxing day here. Perhaps you're going to tour the caves of Drac or the Valley of the Oranges in Puerto Soller. Perhaps you're going to take a bicycle tour of Palma. All is possible. Then we're into Ajaccio in Corsica, also known as the Scented Isle, a place of dramatic shoreline, lovely cliffs, small coves and golden beaches, and the birthplace of Napoleon. You can even go to the Maison Bonaparte, which is Napoleon's house. Messina's next in Sicily. Your gateway to the rugged beauty of southeast Sicily and Mount Etna, alongside beautiful and quaint Taormina. Now, downtown, you can also head to the Duomo, which is that beautiful cathedral. Salerno, Italy is next on the list. Near Naples and Capri, so you've got Pompeii within easy reach, Herculaneum as well. So lots of ancient ruins here. And home of the rich and famous, Capri. You're going to head out there on the hydrofoil. That's a fun thing to do for the day. Cruising into the port for Rome, where we'll disembark for 2 nights in the Eternal City. Now, I don't think any amount of times in Rome is enough. I think you could go back a dozen times, 20 times, and still find something new to enthrall you in this incredible, culturally rich, vibrant metropolis. And there, of course, that's the Trevi Fountain. You've got to throw your coin in the fountain and say you've done it. The Spanish Steps, you've got Vatican City, you might see the Sistine Chapel as well. Wow, what an adventure this is. We'll fly you back to Australia from Rome.
Yeah, you're going to love it. I have to agree, in Rome. I mean, even if you don't go to the big sights and sounds, just being in Rome, just spending time there, you know, all the places you can go to. On the wonderful train system in Italy as well, to other Italian cities. It's just wonderful to do. It's just a lovely place to be. And like you say, it is very, very culturally rich. It is scenic. It is gorgeous. It is just a lovely place to spend time. It's a great interest all of the way through. It's the same with Barcelona as well, actually. I love the fact that this kind of starts in one and ends in the other with stays in both. It's wonderful. So it is also fair to say that this is the most glorious time of the year to go and cruise the Med in the ultimate style and glamour that is Cunard voyaging. The 20 nights that we have here on the package includes lounge access at Sydney International before you fly over to Barcelona, 2 nights in a hotel there, then 2 weeks of voyaging on Queen Victoria with Cunard on a back-to-back sailing, and you'll be sailing around Italy and Sicily and France and Spain and Ibiza, such a variety of different ports and places to go and visit. Cruise ends in the port for Rome, where we transfer you into the city centre to enjoy the day before, and you've got a couple of nights in a hotel there. And then when you arrive at the airport in Rome, you'll check into the premium lounge there as well before you then fly back to Sydney. And we've done all of that. We really have rolled out the red carpet galore here for this price tag. Again, I have to say, this is testament to our amazing team here at CruiseAway. They've been putting together packages like this for over 25 years, so they know where to unlock the very best of value, and they've got that cemented relationship with all the major cruise lines, with Cunard as well. Remember, we're sending a lot of people away on holiday with Cunard every single year. That gives us a certain buying power. We're a worldwide and a global company as well, so we really can maximize our discounts. So take advantage of that as quickly as you possibly can. Here's the overview of the offer. Can't believe that that has all come in at less than $6,000. I mean,
wow,
that's ridiculous if you think about it. I mean, this is a peak time of the year to go and visit the Mediterranean. It's a perfect time of year to go and visit the Mediterranean as well, because you're there before the height of the summer and the height of the crowds. So when you're in the cities, be it in Rome, in Barcelona, or anywhere along the way, you're actually being able to get into the heart and soul of a place without it being too overcrowded, which is fantastic. You can book this today with a deposit. Of course, we're talking about next May right now. There are various ways to pay as well. We have travel pay later available as well if you want to split the cost of this or any of our holiday packages that you see here at CruiseAway. It's really, really good, very, very simple and easy to sign up to, and you pay in either 6 or 12 equal monthly instalments for your holiday, so that might be worth bearing in mind and talking to our team about right now. The magic number, 7 days a week, 1300 411 968, and remember, that is toll free. Such a joy to talk about Cunard, Joe, isn't it? It's just, it's one of those, we don't call it a cruise line, it is a voyaging line. It is,
yeah.
You know, it's almost like the utter reverence in the cruise industry,
yeah,
is Cunard, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely the genesis of cruising, really.
Yeah,
I mean, this is how it all began.
There would be no cruising without them.
You get to experience it. Now, it's time to cruise the coast of the Greek islands, Croatia and Italy on board Queen Victoria with Cunard. This 19 nights for next June starts by flying over from Sydney to Rome in Italy, and 3 nights in a fabulous Rome hotel awaits you to explore the myriad of different wonders here. Now, one thing I love about Rome, I have to say, is you're just strolling around what seems like a regular street, walking around the corner, and all of a sudden you encounter 3,000 years of history right beneath your feet. They sometimes have these glass walkways, and underneath they've got preservations of actual excavation they're currently doing. So it is just absolutely mind-blowing to see this level of history, and the food, of course, as well. Then, talking of food, we're on board Queen Victoria now for 14 nights, where you will be treated to such delicious cuisine. I don't know how you'll ever recover once you get off. You'll be like, I need to book my next cruise for sure. Now, something that's really charming about Cunard, and we touched on it before, we were talking about how it's the origin of cruising, is that if you're a dancer, if you and your partner love to ballroom dance or salsa or tango or anything like that, this is the place people come to dance. They have a proper old school ballroom, and they have dancing experts also talking you through the classes. Or you might just be like me, watching people dance across the floor in awe. That's also a wonderful thing to do of an evening.
Well, and also, please don't feel inadequate if you don't ballroom dance, because there's always the chance later in the disco to do you and I dance.
Freestyle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. That's much more my style. That's what, yeah, exactly. And then, of course, whilst you're on board, they have lots of great lectures, and Cunard are known for this because of the development of their enrichment program, and they'll always tailor it to the destinations you're visiting. So you might have an expert, for example, on the economy in the Mediterranean, or you might have somebody coming on board talking about the history of chocolate, or something specific depending on the theme of the cruise. You know, you'll have also crafting experts on board. You might have people bringing on a special collection of gemstones or jewellery. So you always have something going on the theatre. They do lectures on the ports of call. So destination experts will talk you through the specific excursions on offer too. So what this does is it enables you to plan your time in port. You know, maybe you want to do several things in one port. You will be able to do that if you plan adequately, and the Shore Excursions team will help you do that.
Going back to the jewellery just for a second, it's funny that when you are in a Cunard boutique looking at the jewellery, you think, I've never seen anything like this anywhere else in the world. So they must be opening up exclusive opportunities even in the jewellery world. Yeah,
they absolutely do. And you have, you might have someone coming on board, for example, bringing you the ancient Roman sea glass, you know, a special collection that is specific to the destination, or handcrafted jewellery from Croatia. So, you know, it's always destination specific, and they aim to do that with their wine pairings, with their menus as well. So it all feels like it's tailored towards where you're visiting. And their parties too, their deck parties and their special events there. You know, chocolate buffet they'll have the, you know, have a barbecue outside one night most likely as well. So there's always something going on. Then we're cruising to Crete as our first port. This amazing port is awash with incredible ancient civilization to visit, such as the Palace of Knossos, and you will find museums supporting this. So if you're an archaeological buff, this will be perfect. Corfu's next. I always love to just have a relaxing beach day here. It's a very chilled island. They also have a great market downtown and some really charming restaurants. So Corfu is absolutely beautiful and charming as well. Kotor Montenegro is next, and it lies at the head of of Boca Bay with towering limestone cliffs and a winding bay. It's actually Europe's longest and most dramatic fjord, but you have this amazing UNESCO World Heritage City to explore whilst you're there. Split, Croatia, with its pine-clad hills and secluded coves awaits, and that Dalmatian Riviera is also so rich in history. I mean, the downtown area, also UNESCO World Heritage. Around every corner, you'll be in awe of these buildings. Trieste, Italy is next on the list, tucked in the country's northeast corner of the Adriatic Sea, with beautiful mosaics, imposing cathedrals, lovely listed buildings, and of course, some of the best food in the world, pizza and pasta. We're in Italy after all. Then it's back to Croatia in lovely Zadar on the Dalmatian coast, known for its Roman and Venetian ruins, and the incredible sea organ you've got played by the waves. You've got to go and see this while you're there and take a picture or a little video. But next up, it's Dubrovnik. Now, many of you Game of Thrones fans will know this as King's Landing, and you can actually do a Game of Thrones tour whilst you're there, but I'd recommend going to Rose Pharmacy. It's known to be the oldest pharmacy in the world. Very cool place to visit. Valletta's next in Malta, the largest in a group of 7 islands, occupying that position between Europe and Africa, so lovely climate. The megalithic stone temples at Gozo are known to be the oldest freestanding structures on Earth, and you can do a tour there, of course. We're into Naples next, where you can head to Capri, home of the rich and famous, Pompeii, that amazing lost city, or Naples proper, where you can find, by the way, the origin of pizza, the oldest pizza restaurant in the world. We're back into the port for Rome, where we've included transfer to the city centre so you can enjoy your last day before we fly you back to Australia.
We're so good. We are so good. And I tell you, yes, you're welcome. It's a wonderful holiday, this one, actually, isn't it? I mean, I love the fact that when you're getting on a Cunard ship, if you've been on board with Cunard before, you'll know only too well when I say that, you know, 7 nights just doesn't cut the mustard, does it? You need longer. You need longer because you need that lovely balance of, remember, people looking at Cunard, by the way, and looking at our videos, if you've not been on board before, you might be thinking, right, okay, do I have to wear a suit and tie and do the bow tie thing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Absolutely not. Daytime is very country casual. It's very much as you would be if you were sightseeing in Europe. That's how you dress on the ship, even if you're staying on board on a port day. It's of an evening where things kind of smarten up, but you've got other options as well if that's not for you, which is great. But 14 nights is a wonderful, wonderful adventure, and you've got destinations that are so perfect for Cunard voyaging on this. Now, a deposit will secure your 19-night trip, which includes premium lounge access at Sydney International and Rome airports here, your return flights to from Sydney, a 3-night hotel stay in Rome, which is brilliant, and that 2 weeks of Queen Victoria voyaging in the Greek Isles, Croatia, Malta and Italy, with a transfer at the end of the cruise back into the city centre of Rome, which gives you a little bit more time there before you head off back to the airport and fly back to Sydney, all for an incredible, and I do mean incredible, price tag. Again, how we've managed to put together what we have, considering, you know, the distance that we're flying and travelling, and we're getting some staying time in Rome, and we're getting 2 weeks of, this isn't cruising, this is elevated voyaging with Cunard. Remember, they only have 4 ships. We're talking about some cruise lines right now in 30 plus ships out there sailing around the world. With Cunard, it's only 4, and that still feels incredibly exclusive. Let's have a look at an overview of the offer and indeed the available upgrades. So if you really want to go a little bit higher as well, if you want to maybe think about a grand suite maybe on Queen Victoria. I can only dream of that.
Oh, wow.
But for you, it could be a reality. And if you want to know more about the suites and the other stateroom upgrades, have a look on our website as well at cruiseaway.com.au, because with each offer, you'll find details of how is an interior different to an ocean view, how is an ocean view different to a suite. All that information is on the website as well. Remember, you can grab this today with a deposit, 1300 411 968. Now, finally, one of the most exciting natural phenomena in Europe is seen by travelling right up into the Arctic Circle with the best uninterrupted views of the Northern Lights. Doing the voyage with Cunard just enhances the special sailing experience. Our 18 nights start for you on the 18th of March next year, flying from Sydney over to London to enjoy the majesty of England's capital for 3 nights there in a hotel. And it is springtime in London. The air is fresh. The possibilities are endless.
Oh, absolutely. You've got the London Eye right there, which gives you spectacular views over the capital. Some of the parks will be coming into bloom with daffodils and tulips and all of that loveliness. And of course, you have the iconic buildings all around the city. We are then transferring down to Southampton, where we'll board the gorgeous Queen Victoria for our voyage for 13 nights, heading off in search of the Northern Lights. Wow. Now, Victoria is a wonderful place to enjoy this experience because, again, they will have experts on board talking about, everything you're going to be heading out to see, which is wonderful, in their enrichment program. And these are always scheduled during the cruise at times where you can go and enjoy them in the theatre, usually on sea days. And you will have some sea days, of course, to enjoy the full entertainment program, which ranges from quizzes and Sudoku, which they leave at reception with your daily newspapers for you to just do at your own leisure, through to structured bingo and quiz and shuffleboard and ping pong and, all of those fun things, game shows as well that they do. There's things like fencing on board, making it that little bit different. Just the Cunard difference is remarkable because they bring things into your radar that you might not have ever thought about experiencing at sea, because it's that traditional cruising experience. The theatre is also absolutely beautiful. It's classic, it's elegant, right there in the Royal Box. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? And the shows, of course, will be different every single night.
And included.
So
that's the thing. You don't have to queue up at the box office to pay for your tickets. It is there. It is given, as is the daily spectacle of afternoon tea as well. That can't be understated. That'll become a real highlight in your day.
Yeah.
Whether is it 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, it's usually in the afternoon. It'll happen at a specific time, and you'll get to know when that time is, and you'll get to know that you will not miss the treat that is afternoon tea, because it is one of those charming traditions that is part of Cunard voyaging. And it's the charming, dark woods in the pub there. It's the atmosphere. It's just that feeling of elevation, I think. And taking a cruise like this, this is about a bit more of an exploration, this cruise, isn't it? It's a bit more of a, sort of an exciting expedition with your fellow voyagers.
I love that. Yeah, like you said before, Derek, it's about voyaging on Cunard.
Yeah.
It's about really not just the destination, but the whole feeling of the destination being extended onto the cruise ship and vice versa. So everything is tailored towards that destination. You've got a lovely stocked library as well, with loads of travel guides and things. So it does feel very traditional. That's the museum, of course, on board, and wonderful. And then we're going to be heading out in search of the incredible Aurora Borealis Northern Lights out of Southampton. And the first port we're heading into is Andelstes in Norway, where you can head up in this lovely alpine town to see the Troll Wall. It nestles where the towering Alps of Romsdal meet the northern end of the sparkling Romsdal Fjord. So maybe head out onto the fjord as well. Tromsø is next, and we have an overnight on board. And of course, this will give us an optimum opportunity to potentially view those northern lights. But this port is amazing with the Arctic Cathedral and the Polaria Aquarium. We really do get immersed into the feeling of, the North area of the world, the northernmost city. Then we have a double overnight in Narvik, which is wonderful. So from cycling through to dog sledding and to the mushing camps you can go and visit. Norway has an incredible diverse bird life as well, so you can actually go to the bird watching sanctuaries,
but also see where we are on the map here. Right up in the Arctic Circle, best uninterrupted views if the Northern Lights come out to play. All of these northern ports in Norway are brilliant because less light pollution, better chance of seeing the aurora if it comes out to play. Älvsjö is just a beautiful, beautiful little fjordland town. And Stavanger are so walkable.
It's adorable, Stavanger. The Lysefjord and Pulpit Rock you can head to, or you can do a helicopter tour whilst you're there. And you can do a little cruise along the Lysefjord, a nice day cruise. Now here's a flavour of what you could potentially see, one of the most amazing natural phenomena on Earth, the Northern Lights. You might have experienced the Southern Lights, of course, where we are, but the Northern Lights are amazing, and they are a colourful phenomena that can be viewed best, as we mentioned, in the northern part of the world. So imagine some of the pictures you'll get, because actually some of the best way to view the Northern Lights is behind a camera lens.
Yes.
So you might not see that full spectacle straight away in the sky, but when you take a picture through your cell phone or your camera, I mean, my goodness, it really comes to life.
And here's something, because actually it always used to be that it was a very, very rare spectacle, but it's becoming more often, actually, and you might have seen in the news reports last year that actually people right in the south of the UK, as far south as Southampton, where you start your cruise in the UK, last year quite a few times has really, really good views of the aurora from the south of England, which is kind of unheard of, but it happened several times last year at unusual times of the year as well. Usually we think of, you know, late winter, this time of the year as well, in March, as being the sweet spots for the aurora, but actually it's been happening a lot more in other times of the year. It's a real bucket list part of the world to go and see, and voyaging with Cunard is the way to see it. A deposit today will lock in your price, which include return flights from Sydney to London, a 3-night hotel stay there, transfer down to Southampton, your 30-night Northern Lights voyage on Queen Victoria, with overnights in those key ports in the Arctic Circle, transfer included from the end of the cruise to the airport in London, premium lounge access there at both Sydney and London Heathrow airports. It's amazing. And look, I think actually this is the lowest price in this show. I mean, look at that, spectacular. Again, I have no idea how we've managed to do all of that for just that. I mean, that is a great value holiday, isn't it? When you think of what we are including there, and you think about what's included as part of your Cunard voyage as well, because you are so taken care of there. Activities, entertainment, so much included, dining, so many different things to do. And then you've got the joy of the ports as well. And fingers crossed, that A1 view from the Arctic Circle of the fabulous Northern Lights. I really hope they come out to play for you. Here's the overview of the offer. What a magical, magical thing to do. It is so lovely. It kind of sets you tingling, actually. It's a lovely part of the world to go and visit anyway. It's really charming. It's really authentic. You can see the modern day cities. You can step way back in time in this part of the world. And it gives you a nice kind of relaxing pace for the whole voyage as well. I love it. We've rolled out the red carpet all the way there. We've taken care of so much for you, and any questions you've got, of course, just speak to the team on 1300 411 968. But don't hesitate on an offer like this, because as I was saying before, it kind of feels like Cunard is like the end of a charming era of that traditional cruise line feel, rather than a cruise ship, a cruise line.
There's nowhere quite like Cunard.
No.
It's completely, you know, in its very, very own bubble in a very good way.
It's lovely.
And you've got to experience it. And then there's a reason why mariners, seasoned adventurers come back cruise after cruise to enjoy the Cunard experience. And it'll be one you will be bragging about to friends and family
for sure,
for many, many moons to come, that's for sure.
Sophisticated and grand, and it feels exclusive and something different, and something you are so glad looking back that you had the chance to do. Thanks so much for your company. We'll see you back here to Cruise Away again.
Mind how you go.